So in this video I am going to try and give you my opinion on how you would use your smartphone to help with your golf swing or help improving your golf swing. The first thing to mention when you're videoing your golf swing, so we'll just do the down the line angle, which is the kind of visual you can see on the screen at the moment, and I've just used someone who was in the swing studio a couple of days ago. But yeah, one of the most important things is making sure that the camera angle is set up perfectly. So what you're looking for when you're videoing a golf swing is the camera must point sort of directly opposite the person's shoulders. So for a right-handed golfer, it's going to point at the middle of the right shoulder. It's not as important in terms of height, of how far or what the height that you've got the camera. So on our one in our studio, it's probably set up at sort of waist height. Generally when you're going to video someone, you would always want it from a fixed point. Again, holding the camera so the camera is going to move and wobble when you're videoing someone swing is, again, it's virtually pointless because the lines mean nothing. So you're gonna have to get yourself a tripod and understand that it's going to be set up round about sort of chest height, aiming at the person's right shoulder. So that's the most important thing. Without those things, it becomes pretty much pointless. So for part one of the video, we're going to draw in a couple of lines. So the first one is a straight line off the person's backside. We'll do it on both videos. Both streams. Okay. The second one is a line from the hosel of the club through the middle of the right shoulder. But these are probably two of the most basic lines that I would use in my coaching. So you can see, you know, this was an actual lesson, and I've changed the lady's posture slightly. The improved one's on the right hand side. So as the club moves back in takeaway, and we're not trying to, this is not a lesson, we're not trying to give her, you know, I'm not trying to dictate what's wrong or right with the swing, I'm just simply using it as an example to show you how you could use the line to help your golf swing. So, as we move back, what we will generally look for, and again, there is not many elite players, tour players that will come off this line in transition from setup to the top of the backswing. So what's happened here with this lady is the pressure, because she doesn't really have any sort of hip rotation, the pressure moves forward into her toes and comes away from the right heel. So for a right-handed golfer with an iron, generally we would look for the sense of pressure to be more in the right heel. Because she hasn't done that, because she hasn't really rotated her hips, one, it limits how far she can get the club back, and two, she moves off this line. Okay. So on the right hand side, now you can see the initial movement is a little bit more with the hips. Okay, and because she rotates the hips, it allows the chest to rotate more, and she stays perfectly onto this line right the way up to the top of the backswing. Okay. And again, what we would look for is the hands to just sit slightly inside the hosel through the shoulder plane line. And the reason why she's got this more behind it, and obviously the club's further back, is because she has rotated her hips correctly and there is more pressure in this right heel. Okay. On the way down, I've never personally come across a player that is of a very elite standard who gets the club working excessively outside of this line. Again, we would generally want to see the hands be a little bit more behind you in the downswing. So again, in this position where the lead arm is parallel to the ground, isn't too bad. Maybe say we could have it a little bit more behind it, but we certainly wouldn't want the club cutting outside the line of this hosel through shoulder line. Okay. Generally, when you see a club that comes outside here, this is the guy that normally slices the ball, you know, or you can get some big pulls from that position as well. So we move to the swing on the right hand side. You can see now that the hand path has a little bit more depth on the way down. The hands are a little Again, the head now is slightly behind the hands when she comes into the position number 6, we call it. So you can see this. These two are exactly the same frame. Okay. So these are the two most basic lines you can draw on your golf swing to start off with. And again, there's people that may disagree with me, but I personally would say that you would never really want to be off that line to the top of your backswing, and your hands would definitely not want to move outside of this line on the downswing. This is a much better swing versus this one. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Two basic lines. Any questions at all, feel free to post below.